Not incredibly unusual, but this low is going to draw in some cold air around it from Hudson Bay on Thursday, and that'll increase the chance you'll see some flakes.
Is it 2020 or... This is the ultimate Canadian video for Canadian gardeners. How are you guys doing today? My name is Ashley. If you are new around here, I'm a soil scientist with a plant science minor, and on this channel we take that science and we apply it to the garden and plant care. So if you like the sounds of that, be sure to hit that subscribe button, drop a comment down below if you are new around here. We have a welcoming community and they are awesome, so be sure to introduce yourself and let us know where you are located. So today's video is hilarious because I am on the Canadian Gardeners Facebook group and someone posted the Weather Network's warning for snow in Ontario, and I thought, you know what, if it's coming there, it's probably coming to the rest of Canada eventually in June. Yes, in June. So I thought we should do a video on it for those who have not experienced this yet or are unsure about how to deal with both frost in the garden and snow in the garden. So let's get into it. So frost and snow aren't uncommon in June and sometimes late August, September in Canada, depending on what zone you're in. So it is best to be prepared when it does hit. I actually treat frost differently than I treat snow, and there's two reasons for that. Frost is a lot more damaging than snow, surprisingly, because snow actually acts like an insulation around the plant. If it is not getting below freezing, which can happen, it can snow and not be below zero, then you would take different precautions. The dangerous thing about snow in the garden, however, is that it is very heavy. It is usually very wet and soggy snow. So if you've ever had a snowstorm in spring, Alberta, Calgary, I'm talking to you. I know you've had some wicked ones before. You will notice that trees generally, their branches and their leaves get weighed down and things begin to snap. Same thing happens in the garden when it comes to snow. So we are going to go over containers and then the garden, what precautions you can take to ensure the longevity of your plant. And you can even try these tips later in the year around harvest time when you were so close but not quite there to harvesting your crops. So let's start off with pots. Pots, the best thing to do is actually, if you can move them into a group close to the house. If you can put them underneath the overhang of your home, there's actually kind of a heat sink around your house. Just you place your plants under there, it's a little bit warmer than having them out in the middle of your backyard. There's no need to bring them indoors. Overnight frost or a little bit of snow for a day is not going to harm your plants, especially if you take the right precautions. The second thing I want you to do when you bring your pots close to your home and you congregate them in a little pot party, they do not social distance. Once you bring them together to have a little plant party, you are going to want to water your plants. You're going to want to moisten the soil and the leaves. What this is going to do is it's actually going to take longer for the soil to cool down if there's water in it. The water actually increases the capacity to hold heat. Second thing is water your plants in your pot party. And the third thing, you're going to want to cover your plants with something. Anything really will work. I have used bed sheets. You can use plastic bags. You can use cardboard boxes. Any of this is going to do is just going to provide you with a little bit of cover. Once the threat of snow and frost has disappeared, feel free to uncover them and bring them back to their original spot. Number 2 is for the garden. For the garden, you obviously can't move the plants. You're going to have to leave them where they are. My suggestion is to use a bed sheet or some sort of covering as well. But because you don't have the protection of the house to prevent from heavy snow or lots of snow, I also urge you to use some sort of box, plastic container, or staking system to be able to stake up the plant and hold the foliage in place. The reason being is you don't want the weight of the snow to crush your plant. That is the main worry when it comes to snow in the garden, especially when you're starting to get more leaves and fruits on your tomato plants, for example. You're going to want to make sure they are properly staked and that you are providing some sort of a shelter or a barrier from the weight of the snow more so than the risk of frost. Now, if you know you're going into 2 to 3 days of cold weather and snow, which can happen in some places in Canada, you may want to look into putting a low wattage lamp in underneath your bedsheet cover. This little bit of heat is going to be enough to help your plants. Something that I have seen and I actually have used in my own garden when things have gotten a little bit dicey is the old school string of lights. You know how they emit a little bit of heat? I put my finger to the test, and what I actually did was I remembered that when I put them in the snowbank in the winter, they usually form kind of a dome around them that they light up. So I thought, well, if I just stick that string of lights underneath my blanket, it's going to provide a little bit of heat, which it does. Now, because there is a little bit of heat, you are going to want to make sure that you don't run the risk of any foliage touching it. But if you just run it along the bottom, heat rises and it should be enough to help your plants out. Now, there are chemicals out there that are called anti-transference, which essentially kind of stop water loss from the leaves, which can help against frost, and this is another option as well. They last for about 3 months on average. I've never used them. I don't know if they work or if they don't work, but thumbs up on this video if you want to know if it works, because I can of course do the science behind that as well. So I thought it would be a fun video to do just since I saw that Weather Network, and I'm sure that is a question for a lot of new Canadian gardeners or someone who's never experienced snow in the summertime, which I know there are lots of cold climate gardeners in America going to be experiencing this for the first time as well. In summary, for pots, we are going to have a pot party and we are going to cover them. We are going to bring them close to the house and we are going to ensure that we water. And then also for the garden, we are going to make sure we water our soil heavily damp because it increases our heat holding capacity. And then we are also going to cover, and we may think about putting a string of lights or a low wattage bulb underneath the covers with our plants. So if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Happy planting. Bye. Oh, hey there. Are you still watching? Make sure to hit that subscribe button for some more awesome